Hello, let me quickly show you how you can register to the BCCNM. So first thing, we'll need to go to bccnm.ca. I'm going to go scroll down and click on the new registration process for internationally educated nurses. So let's click learn how to apply. Okay, so we'll have a few guidelines. You can take your time to go through them. But I'm going to go to apply to the BCCNM. So again, we're going to click on that. And we'll need to send our application documents to IEN applications at bccnm.ca. So you want to send this form and a copy of your resume. So we're going to click on the form. And remember, you will not be charged an application fee. The cost is being waived through funding from the government of British Columbia. So we're going to click on the form. And whilst that opens, okay, so we have our form here. We can go through a few of the guidelines. So again, remember, you want to first of all watch my previous video on how to create an account, an online account on the BCCNM website. So if you don't have that, you can click here to create an account. And secondly, you already want to have watched the video on the NCAS process on how to create a profile on that. Because we'll need all of these ID numbers when we are filling this form. And you also want to download this form to your computer so that it could save any changes you make. Okay, and you always want to make sure you complete all sections of the form. So you want to complete all sections because the incomplete sections will cause a delay. And when we are done, we're going to email a copy of this form, the completed form, and our resume to this email address. If you do not include your CV, the application may be delayed. Again, when you are drafting your CV, you want to make sure you take note of this. It must be a comprehensive history of all nursing and healthcare related positions you have held. Even if it's volunteer positions, you want to make sure you include the start date and the end date, especially the month and the year, the name of the employer, his or her location, whether it was a full-time job or a part-time job, and your primary area of practice. You also want to include a comprehensive history of all healthcare-related education with the year completed, whether it's online learning or a learning hub course. You want to put all of that in there. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down to part A, personal information. Like I said, you should have already created an account on BCCNM. That's where you're going to get your ID number. So you can input that there. So you want to input your ID number, your NCAS ID from your NCAS portal. You want to go there, grab the number and put it here. You want to put in your email address, your first name, middle and last name. If you have any previous name like your maiden name, you want to put it in here. And then we'll proceed to part B, the application type. We're applying for registered nurse. So you're going to check that box. If you're applying as a psychiatric nurse, you want to check this box. So we're going to leave it as registered nurse. And then we'll move to part C. Remember, this is a new process and they've included more options to have your credentials reviewed. So whichever is best for you, you want to go with that. So you can either use the Comparative Education Service, CES, or ICES, or ICAS, or World Education Service. World Education Service kind of is a whole lot shorter. Or you can use the National Nursing Assessment Services. So again, if you already used NNAS, you want to provide your NNAS application number and your NNAS registration ID. So you're going to be able to input those ID numbers there. And then we can proceed to part D, which is your nursing registration. So you want to input your school name, your school address, your name at the time that you completed that education. For example, you are married now, so you want to put in your maiden name and what kind of education. Was it a diploma, bachelor, certificate, and all of that? What's the program type? You also want to include the start dates and the end dates. And then if you have any other education information you want to add, you want to go ahead and add it in the second entry box. And then we can proceed to part E, which is your Canadian registration. Again, have you ever applied for registration or you've been registered in Canada with any other professional regulatory body other than the BCCNM? If you have, you want to click yes. For example, you might have been registered with the College of Registered Nurses of Alberta. You want to put that in there, the registration type, if the license was granted, your start date and all of that, but we haven't been registered with any other body. So I'm going to click no, I'm going to select no, and I'll proceed to part F, other registration. So again, you want to provide details of all the regulatory bodies outside of Canada where you have ever been registered or where you hold a nursing registration. If it's more than 3, then you might want to include additional information on a separate document and submit it with your application. But for me, I'm only registered with the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. The registration type is RN. So I'm going to put in my registration number. Yes, the license was granted. I was initially registered in 2008. So I'm going to leave the end date open. If you have any other regulatory body registrations you want to put it in these other fields. And then we can move to character, part G. So again, have you ever been denied registration? No. Have you ever been disciplined by a regulatory body? No. Has your license been revoked or suspended? No. Are you currently under investigation? No. Again, if any of this is yes, you need to provide details in each of these boxes. And then we'll go to fitness to practice. Based on your personal history, do you have any medical history that will not allow you practice? No. And then we'll go to part I, declaration, acknowledgement, undertaking, and consent. So you want to check all of these boxes. You want to check all of these boxes. With acknowledgement, you want to check that you understand all of the information you provided. And with undertaking and consent, you want to check all of these boxes. And then we want to impute the dates. Again, you want to do save this form, and in addition to your resume, you want to put it as an attachment and send it to IEN_applications@bccnm.ca. And that's how you want to register or send in your application as an internationally educated nurse. Continue to subscribe. Click on the notification bell icon so that you keep getting prompts whenever a new video is uploaded.